Hello guys, and welcome back to 404 Not Found Technical Server. I hope you enjoyed that time lapse. We have just finished, well, I say just finished, we did this like a couple of days ago now. We essentially built up these very small flying machines designed up by Hyper, which pushed water sources all the way across the perimeter, so we have to just build multiple of these machines. That way we basically converted all of the concrete powder on the top layer to black concrete, and now we have a nice looking perimeter floor. The next step is to actually remove these machines, and we need to actually remove the world eater because we've yet to do that, and everyone's been a bit lazy about it because no one wants to really do it. Saving all the resources isn't really much of a problem. We can easily get everything back. But yeah, I think what the task I'm going to do today is remove the world eater on this side as well as on the other side. So if I just quickly show you the actual perimeter in its entirety now. So it's just, it looks even more like void, but I mean, this isn't a void perimeter. Although it'd be nice to have a void perimeter at some point, but yeah, at the moment we don't have one, so this is the closest we're going to get, at least aesthetically close anyway. We need to now put glass on top of it to prevent mob spawns. That's the only next step we require in terms of the overall floor, and then after that we need to do the walls. And oh wait a minute, oh no, the world eater on this side has been removed. Ah, I didn't even notice. Oh, that's good. Well, in that case, I just have to remove the other side. That's not too bad. This wall over here needs mining away just a little bit more because it's ever so slightly too small. So we didn't make the trenches just big enough for it. So if we look up here, you can see, yeah, and I mean, there's some bits here as well we need to get rid of. So about to here, we need to remove all of that, and then up to all the way down here, you can see that we've got this bit here that hasn't been removed, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. We have to remove it. So that's going to be another job that we have to do. And then once we have that, we can actually put in the walls, and then we're going to have pretty much a fully decorated perimeter. It's probably better if we get the glass in first, but the problem is we need to build up the glass factory before we do that. So I believe Hyper is working on that. I will be working on a different project we need for the infrastructure, but to begin this episode, I'm just going to go ahead and remove this and remove all of this. Okay, so it's essentially the next day, and I didn't actually finish removing the world eater. I started doing it, and then I got bored quite quickly and decided to tackle a technical project that I had at the back of my mind. More about that another time, but yeah, went ahead and did that, and then I've come back on now, later next day. And it's actually been removed already, so yeah, thank you to whoever did that. Saved me the job. I feel a bit bad actually that I didn't finish it, but anyway. Now the only thing to do here is now to do the walls here. However, I am not really in the mood to do that because it's going to be a little bit tedious doing all that wall, and I'd rather do it with someone else. However, there is something I would like to start working on, and I will go over to that area right now. And what I want to do is start the decoration over here at the bartering storage. So the idea that I've got in mind is to basically mine out the entire area by hand, and this entire area is the 7x7 chunks around the portal in the storage system. That way we have a little bit less lag, and also we have a nice cool hole. and then after that, Griffin can work out what he wants to do with the decoration around the storage. Do need to remove all these trees, so I've just made a blue border around for the 7x7 bit. So if I turn the chunks on, it's like, you know, just slightly outside. So I've left one block gap here, which I'm also going to mine out, which is to allow for a wall to be put in place, like just a one wide wall, simple sort of thing. And then the rest of it needs to be deforested and then, in theory, flattened out. But before we get to the flattening out bit, there's something else I have to do first. But first of all, just need to deforest, and then once that's done, I can build up the what I want to actually build up. So I'll get right back to you once I have deforested this area. Okay, so now the entire area has been deforested. Most of the work was actually done by Sharp, so thank you for doing that. I had to log off for basically the entire time that the entire thing got deforested. And I've only just got back on, and I've come back to find out the entire thing has been deforested. So thank you so much, Sharp. Now on to the next step. So, well, first of all, I'm just going to quickly show you the area now. It's a bit easy to see, but this entire blue outline is the 7x7 chunks with a little border, like I said. So I've done the chunks on, you see you've got a little bit of border there for the walls. But the rest of it needs to be mined away, and I'm now going to actually go ahead and put in the thing that I was going to originally. It looks like these leaves over here are just stubborn and won't go, so I'm going to get rid of them manually. But the thing that I wanted to put in the middle of this is a dig sort. And this is the dig sort. This is the multiplayer version. I might actually build up the single player version because it's such a small area that we're mining out that I don't really think we need to have such a large dig sort. There'll be some things I'm going to get rid of, so I'm not going to have the portal here and the chunk loader as well. And then all of the coral here as well, I'm going to change that to not be coral. So, yeah, so I'll change those few little bits, and also this was made by Command Leo and, well, actually the three people who did it are here. So Command Leo, Speedkeeper, and Ashvesh, the members of the Mechanist server, they're all the ones who came up with this entire idea. So I think Ashvesh came up with the first one. Yep, it says he made Digsort version 1. Then Speedkeeper and Command Leo were the ones who came up with the version 4, which is this one. I just kind of want to test it. It might be a bit overkill for the for the small area we're going with, but I would like to try it out, and then we can actually have some sorted boxes for certain things, which would be quite nice. Okay, here are the modifications. So I did change the concrete to white. I removed the nether portal, removed the chunk loader, and I also just put in this wall here for pickaxes, rockets, and pork chops. So not sure how many other people are going to be helping me on this. So I thought it'd be nice and put some extra there. Definitely going to need it for the rockets and the pickaxes. Food, maybe not so bad, but yeah, that's the changes I have indeed made. I've also changed the shulker boxes to be white shulker boxes, and the thing they were grey in the original thing over there. Well, these ones over there. And the other change I made is that I've changed all the coral fans to iron trap doors because we have more of those. It might be a bit redundant to have sand and sandstone here, but just in case, I'll keep it in. I won't bother checking. But we'll build this one up and we'll see whether it was overkill or not overkill. Either way, we'll get a decent amount of resources this way. Okay, so the dig sort is now built up on the server. This is definitely overkill for what we're actually digging out. It is definitely just a test of whether this works, and it does. So already, like with some stuff we've done, we've got some chop boxes coming in, but nothing now I think, but mostly grass and at the moment I think. Yep. Yep, all coming through. Those ores over there, so those ones there, they are not, those aren't put shulker boxes, these are. So all this is going to be shulker boxes, this is not going to be shulker boxes, and we'll see what we do get. Now, like I said, sandstone and sand probably more unlikely to get here. I just didn't remove it from the dig sort because I couldn't be bothered. But I have brought over some perfect pickaxes, some rockets, and also some pork chops. To do the filters, I already have to start doing some digging, so already we've made some progress here. And this is what we got so far. So yeah, so I didn't have enough iron ore, didn't have enough andesite, and didn't have enough coal ore to fill up the filters in the dig sort because the filters require all of the hoppers and the all the hoppers and all of the what do you call them, droppers, to be filled up with in the filters to be filled up. So we needed to gather more of it. So I actually went out and caved a bit, which I haven't done in ages. Not since Eternal have I done caving, and that was taking forever. So I started doing actual parts of digging, and so did random, and then we were able to gather all of the iron we needed for the filters as well as the andesite and all the like. So yeah, so now that I've got this built up, I'm going to go ahead and start some digging. So I'll just do some time lapses of the different digging sessions that I do over the next few days. hope you enjoyed that quite minimal time lapse, I believe, because I only recorded the first first bit of this dig, and then roughly here I recorded. So I did not record some of the middle bits, but the bits over here I did. And then I had to log off, and this was early today, I had to log off, so only a couple of hours ago. And then I got back on now, and everything is done. The entire thing has been dug out, so thank you to everyone that's helped out there. So Swarm and Yeet have, I believe, done the most digging. Yeet finished off most of it today, and then Watt helped him get to the end. So Yeet is one of our newest members, so thank you a lot for doing that. And yeah, so now I've got a lovely hole, so decoration can begin on this place. And so Griffin's currently on holiday, so that's sort of the more nicer sort of bit of decoration will be done then. But I've already got some ideas for the floor. Pretty happy with this. Really happy with this. And we've got plenty of stuff at the dig sort now. So let's just go to the dig sort and land. You can see it's working how it works. So nothing really in there right now. Got quite a lot of lapis, got quite a bit of diamond actually. A lot of gold, a lot of redstone ore. I've got quite a few sugar boxes of coal ore. I've got 2 sugar boxes of iron ore, so currently still working. But I've got nothing of sand and sandstone because we didn't dig in that area. I just decided, like I said, didn't remove it from the actual original dig sort. Got tons of sugar boxes of dirt. I think that was manually put in because it's not a white sugar box. Tons of grass, and then got quite a bit of gravel, andesite. Got an absolute load of andesite now. We actually had no andesite at all. We had like polished andesite, but no actual normal andesite until we started using this. And tons of diorite, which I mean isn't nice, I guess. And then granite, and some granite's all been taken actually. Fair enough. Maybe it's because some of the stone was in there, but yeah. So got tons and tons of stone here. So I'm sure we've got a ton. Yeah, absolute ton of stone. All that. Yeah, absolute ton of stone. So. This has been very successful, I believe. So thank you to everyone who helped out. And now we are going to go ahead and design a bee farm. In terms of the chronology of these clips, what you just saw was us finishing the digging of the 7x7 chunk at the bartering storage. This has been recorded beforehand, so this is going to happen in the video afterwards. But chronologically, in terms of recording, we haven't finished digging out yet. But the next thing I need to work on is a better honey farm. So a current honey farm is quite small. I don't know how many hives we have, but looking at having a more of a medium-sized honey farm now, so they can get plenty of honey blocks for the main storage once we start building that up, because we're going to require quite a few for that. And we think 30 is going to be perfectly fine. We're not going to go for a mega bee farm just yet. We'll do that at some point in the future. But I do need to work on a design for the bee farm, and this is a standard sort of slice you have for a honey farm. Simply beehive, a flower casing around here. Make sure the beehive is facing this way, so the bees come out into this gap here. Then you have a dispenser, some glass bottles filtering into it, and then you have a hop underneath the beehive that collects the honey bottles, and then you have a simple detection system where it detects the filled honey level of 5 at the beehive, and when it gets to 5 it will then activate the dispenser and activate put the glass bottles into the beehive. So glass bottles we should be fine because we've got a raid farm and we've also got a witch farm, so we should have plenty of glass bottles. So that's not a problem. The thing we do need to, the only thing that's going to be more of a worry is just the number of beehives. So we've got plenty of honeycomb, it's just more the bees. So looking into collecting the bees or breeding the bees and all that will be for next episode. For now, I'm just going to work on a new system. So this is the simple design. I could just make this design and have that for 30. However, I would like to design a new type of slice which may use less resources or just might be a little bit more elegant. And just do something a little bit different. And this is what I have come up with. So in terms of blocks, this is definitely more expensive than the standard version, because we've got these 2 observers here and we've got a sticky piston as well. However, the system is actually fairly neat, and like you could argue it might be. I haven't actually done the test here, but you could argue it might be a little bit less laggy because there's less redstone changes. So this is always at 4, then it changes up to 5, and then it will go back down to 4 well, afterwards. So right now nothing happens because the bee level. So let's just check. We can probably check. So I can't actually get in there because the bees are in the way. Can I get in to check? There we go. Honey level's at 2. So because this is 4, this can't override it. But once this gets to level, signal strength 5, which is when this is full, then this will activate because this is a compositor at level 4. So this comparator is sending a signal of 4 here. And the observer will detect the change up to level 5, which will then power this sticky piston, which then pushes the observer here. And because the observer gets moved, it then one tick pulses the dispenser, and then it will get retracted, and it won't power the dispenser. And that way we can then get the honey balls that way. So pretty simple system, pretty neat, I think. And I kind of want to do it this way just because it's different. Because like all the honey farms you see just use that sort of thing, and I kind of want to do something a little bit more different. So yeah, it's just an alternative design. A little bit more expensive, but it is just an alternative design. The thing I did before was this, and this was problematic because of the fact that this changed twice. So the same idea using the capacitor. This will change from signal strength 4 to 5. The observer detects that, powers, and even on a repeater with a repeater of a delay of 4. When this goes back down to 4 from 5, it will then power it again. So then the dispenser fires out a glass bottle. So that was a waste. But this one doesn't do that. So it's always honey balls, and that way we're always collecting honey balls. But yeah, right now I'm going to come up with a single module because we need to actually stack these up to 30. So a single module, I believe, will be 5. I think that's the most efficient way of doing it with like how the bees all work and how they track and go into hives. I'll do a little bit of research on that first again. So I've done a bee farm before on Eternal, but I can't remember what the technical aspects of it were there. So I'm going to do a little bit of research, then come up with a module and get right back to you. Okay, so I've made up a module, and unfortunately it breaks when you actually tile it. So you can see we've got some glass bottles here, which is happening due to the fact that when you power say you're powering this powering this dispenser, it will then activate the other dispensers, which will cause them to just eject glass bottles if they're not full. So yeah, this way hasn't worked out the way I thought, unfortunately. Which is, frustrating. Quite frustrating. So I have a feeling the way to solve this is to basically power, essentially we're going to have to power that block there, which will then power this dispenser and only that dispenser. And that's essentially how this bit over here works. Come to here. So if this was tiled right now, this would power the dispenser from above, and because it's powering the block, whereas here it would no longer power it from above, it would just be powering the block, which then powers this dispenser and only that dispenser. So that's what we need to do. That's the only way we can do it. So I need to come up with a different, slightly different setup, so which will be slightly wider, which is really annoying. But again, I do want to do this. I still want to do this differently. I don't want to do just a standard honey farm. So I'm going to keep persevering with it. But the module size will be 8, so I've decided instead of 30 hives, we're going to have 32 because that's divisible by 8. And it's in the same ballpark of what we were saying. But yeah, so just need to make sure we don't get glass bottles. That's the only thing to tackle right now. Okay, this design is successful. So all honey bottles, no glass bottles, and we have no loss either. So that's really pretty good. So yeah, all I've done is just basically shifted everything one along, and now the observer will power a block instead of the dispenser itself. And now I need to actually go and put this in the nether, because in the nether we don't have the problem with daylight cycles or weather cycles, and therefore we're going to have more efficient bee farms. So when it's raining, bees will stay inside the beehives, and during the night as well, they will stay in their hives. If we put them in the nether or the end, we don't get any of these problems. Okay, so I've built this up in the nether with all the modules we need. So the way I've stacked it is to have it not like rotated. That way it should be more efficient, I believe, so that these bees will try and bunch up with the bees here. Over here it's not too much of a problem, but I think from the face it might be a bit of a problem. Either way, not too bad anyway. I've been able to, just got 4 of these modules. That's 32 hives, and the rates are about a single chest worth of honey bottles per hour, because they stack to 16. So that's about a stack I've just over a stack and a half of honey blocks per hour. I'm just going to join up some things. I'm going to join up the glass bowls together, and I'm going to also have an output. I don't think it warrants having a Shulkerbox loader, even though it's about basically Shulkerbox per hour of honey bottles. I don't think it warrants that. I'm just going to put in enough storage to last a couple of days worth of AFK, of just having it constantly on. I'm also going to have a storage for the actual honey blocks, so they can craft it all up. And then a input system again to put in the glass bottles back into the system, so that we can just keep using them. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, so here is the storage system, and I've also put in the chunk loader system. So the chunk loader is pretty simple, just a standard minecart based one with a timer. Got a switch here to turn the farm on and off, which is essentially just the chunk loader. And the storage, I've actually gone ahead and put some decoration there, even though we're probably going to build this right above the bedrock. So the bedrock's probably going to be the layer right below this sea lanterns and the quartz here. Here we've got honey bottles on that side, and that side is going to be honey blocks. So actually, let me just change the sign to an arrow, honey blocks. There we go. And then all of this will fill up, so this will be about 50 hours worth of AFK time, and then we can craft it all up and put it into here. And then if you want to get rid of your glass bowls, you just put them to here, and they will then be sent up these two dropper lifts, and then it will go into the chest down over here. Now, the idea is to always have this filled up, or it will begin filling up, and then this to not be that full up. So right now it's only a few bottles of fill up from my test. But the idea is that these shouldn't be all filled. It should just be, this is mostly filled most of the time. Now that's all that needs to be done, is to go ahead and build it up on the server, as well as gather the bees for it. But yeah, I think with that, I'm going to call it an episode. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like. If you'd like to see more, please consider subscribing. And I shall see you again next time. Bye bye.